So hello and welcome to another video. Well, this is a part of my fuel system of my truck, and I'm washing it in soapy dishwater. Yeah, I had it soaking there for about a week. This door keeps opening. It's windy out. It's not very warm. It's windy, but you know, in here the temperature heats up quite a lot better. This is actually the greenhouse, but we haven't planted anything yet because temperatures overnight go below freezing. So I'm using it right now to wash some parts because I'm rebuilding the fuel system on this truck. I wonder if I should put this in vinegar overnight, get rid of this rust, and then perhaps just paint it on the outside or something. What do you think? Leave me a comment. Of course, there's more here that I gotta clean. See? The actual injector pod with the fuel pressure regulator and where the fuel lines come in. This is going to be next. So yeah, it's a bit of a different ball game here today. I'll be just cleaning here and I'll get back to you. I'm just going to show you some parts. See, this is where the injectors go. See, it goes like this. The left one goes in here. There's going to be an O-ring that goes between there. That's why it's loose right now. And then the right one goes in here. See, they are opposite orientation from each other because they're identical injectors apparently. And well, the fuel is coming from the middle here. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how this works. I gotta change these strainer filters there. Everything is pretty clean. This is the fuel pressure regulator here on the back. This goes over top here eventually. This part, it's still got a little bit of dirt here and there. I think I'm gonna still dunk it into the soap water solution. There's also the screws for the air cleaner. These ones, these are for the injector pod. And see, this is also for the air cleaner to go on there. So I spent an hour or hour and a half or so just cleaning parts. It's very windy outside. It's not very warm, but I'm doing this in the greenhouse and it's kind of much better in here than out there or even in my shed where it's quite dark. So you can call me a clean freak or whatever. There's some warm soapy water in here and it's my injector pod. Gonna let it soak for a little bit longer. And then here are the parts that I'm happy with that are clean. Well, the injectors still need to be cleaned. They also need to be tested. I have some ideas about that. And then here's the stuff that goes on top of the throttle body. The screws still need to be scrubbed a little bit, but that's stuff that I can do later on. A little bit at a time works wonders. I don't have to do it all at once. That way I never get tired of it. It's fun. The one thing is I don't know how long it's going to take to actually go through the whole truck, which is obviously what I have to do in this case. So after taking the strainer or filter or whatever you want to call it off of the injector, I can see where it gets the fuel from. See, there's 3 holes. Boy, the wind, eh? There are 3 holes equally spaced from each other, and then in the center on the bottom there is the pintle or whatever you call it. So most of this injector is just a mechanism that the electrical solenoid, whatever you call it, that regulates how far it opens and stuff. Anyways, what I have to do is find a way to activate this and then spray some injector cleaner through that to make sure it's clean before I reinstall it. Other than that, I don't think there's much that can go wrong with these things. Famous last words. Yeah, I used to overhaul carburetors back in the day. Haven't really worked much on fuel injection, to be honest. But this is a simple system. Alright, here's the rest of the throttle body. I already unplugged the connections here. There's just this vacuum line to undo. There's one in the back as well. And then we have the wires here for the injectors. I think this just pulls right out. So I'm gonna get my long nose pliers here and then see what happens. Because there's a gasket there too that goes there. So I got this out, and I can show you why it is so hard to take out. There's actually a little notch there, a hook, whatever you want to call it, to hold this in. And see, this is what you have to push against. So now I can just unscrew the rest of the throttle body, and I should be able to get this right out of here. So everything is unhooked. So hi, it's another day once again. Well, rebuilding this throttle body is more than just putting a seal kit on it. This is the base here. I cleaned it up pretty good, as you could see. Yeah, I want to show you what the problem is with it. This is your throttle shaft. It shouldn't have any play whatsoever this way, but unfortunately it does. Maybe it's better visible from this end. You should be able to see this. It's wiggling in there, and it shouldn't have any play whatsoever. Thankfully, I found a repair kit on Amazon. It includes bushings and a reamer to make them fit. Unfortunately, it takes a couple of weeks for this to arrive from Amazon.ca, but I leave a link in the description just in case. You can probably find it wherever you are. So yeah, those are the challenges when ordering Amazon stuff from Canada that is not exactly sold out of Canada. I believe this probably comes from the United States. There is some shipping charge on it, so it cost me $55 or so Canadian. I think that's still worth it, considering that my truck is probably gonna have a better fuel system, it's gonna run better. And there's so much to do on the truck that if I have to wait 2 or 3 weeks for this, it's fine. I was hoping to get it running a little bit before that, but realistically it's gonna work out just fine. There's enough other stuff to do on this. Now I'm going to show you the fuel pressure regulator, because that I can do. I have the diaphragm here for that. So there are 4 screws. I'm going to start loosening them one by one. I don't want to get them completely out, because what we have here is a spring that I have to hold with my fingers, and I don't know how strong this actually is. Yeah, I can compress it with my fingers. There goes one screw. Now I'm gonna hold this from the other side. Yeah, there's a spring in there. That's what's making it a little bit tricky. Okay, now I'm gonna back these off a little at a time, kind of deal. All right. This is still in, because once this comes out, it goes poof. And I don't want it in my face. I want it, you know, controlled release. There. We got only one screw left holding this now. And it's out. It's out. Yeah, it's quite strong when you have it like this, but I think there are some longer screws in the kit that can help position this. See, there's actually a screw in here from this side. You can see that it's a screw, but it's calibrated. And from this side, there's some solder in there that you cannot mess with it, which is good, I guess. And when you look carefully, there's also a certain position that it needs to go. See how this has a little bit of a, yeah, it's the same shape as the gasket there. There's a flat spot here, and on the other side it's not. So this is the way it's got to go back in. I'm gonna remove this diaphragm. It's actually like a double rubber thingy gasket. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible, but it looks like, see, it's got some deformation on it, so it's a good thing I'm changing this. Just gonna take a rag here. It's still wet from washing it in water the other day, but it's pretty clean inside there, so that's a good sign. It's got a little bit of dirt here, which I might as well remove while I'm at it. See? It looks fine. Yeah, I'm just going to be cleaning this a bit. Don't want to bore you to death. So in this kit, are included two long screws, machine screws, that go in about this far, which will mean that I can compress the spring to some degree. So let's give this a whirl. Here's my new diaphragm gasket kit. I don't think it matters which way this is, as long as these holes are big enough for the screws. Seems like they are, but barely. I'll have to use a flat screwdriver. I might as well put it in as far as it'll go. But yeah, now I'll put this one. Same way. I don't know if you can see this. I can't really look at the camera and at this at the same time, but I'm doing my best here to share the operation. Yeah, that's in. Now once I got the two short ones in there, then the rest should be a piece of cake. Gotta have a strong thumb for this, but it's okay, I'll get it. I don't know if that's in. Yeah, it sure is, seems like it. Now the other one on this opposite side. Snug up these two just enough so in case I have to wiggle it a little bit, I can still do that. Yeah, the reason you're seeing a different picture now is because the camera was overheating in the greenhouse. It was actually almost 40 degrees Celsius in there. Anyways, you could see what I did. I'm just tightening the other two bolts ever so slowly. Now I'm gonna snug them up just by hand, not super tight, just so that they're all roughly the same. We don't want any leak, because there's going to be fuel inside there, and at least on the one side, and it's going to be pressurized by the spring in there. I'm just going to double check if they're all nice and snug. Don't want to over tighten them, but they have to be evenly tightened. There, this should be fine. Alright, I'm just going to show you my setup here for cleaning fuel injectors. This is a can of carburetor cleaner. I got the little tube here for spraying it, and see, I got a zip tie around the bottom. Let's undo this from the spray can. I kind of wanted to show you as I was doing it, but the model wasn't perfected yet. See, I cut the top off a milk jug, stuck the injector in there. This is part of a tube that is from graphite lubricant. I cleaned it out good. And there's also a clear hose behind there. And then it's the tube that comes with the carburetor cleaner. So what I did, I put 9 volts on there with this 9-volt battery and some alligator clips, activated the fuel injector, and then sprayed my stuff through there. Because it goes backwards, it'll come out of these holes there. And that's why I put it in the milk jug, so it wouldn't spray in my eyes or anywhere that I didn't want it. This is an ordinary milk jug. I cut out a part here, mostly so I can put my straw through there. Can you see that? Because I didn't have a hose clamp, I came up with this zip tie, and well, it held it pretty good. This is the top of my milk jug. Here is, see, it's a clear hose here, and this is the tube. I'm kind of slipping it up here to a certain point, and then I'm going to put my zip tie on there, make sure it's holding pretty tight. Replacing a hose clamp that should really go here. See, now I'm putting this in here, screwing it in there. Now I have to connect my spray carburetor cleaner. There, that setup is complete. Now we're going to hook up the power. Gotta be careful not to touch these together. So we're going to see if this activates. Yeah, I can hear it. I don't think I need new injectors. I think these are fine. This is an injector filter, the nozzle filter they call that. Yeah, I can put it on by hand, which is good. And there's also an O-ring that goes with it. This one's fine. I think I like to put some silicone lube on there, not to obstruct anything, but to make it go on there easier and to prevent it from getting squished between something in case it doesn't line up perfectly right away. Do the same thing with this injector. Let's see, there's this here, and it goes into that groove under there. So gonna put that in there. Yeah, that's in there perfectly. The other one, the groove, for some odd reason, is on the other side. That's probably because the injectors are identical. I don't know. Like, that's just how it is. That's in. Now we have these two larger O-rings and the backup rings to go in there. The O-ring goes first because that provides the seal. Again, I got a little bit of silicone lube. I don't know how well you can see this with me wearing my camera like that, but I think it's probably better than me trying to hold it the whole time. Now I'm starting to wonder if I should have put the O-ring in before the injector, but no, maybe I have to pop them back out. Live and learn, right? Ooh, all right. Put the O-ring in its place. But maybe I have to put the backup ring in there first. Let's see how that works. Oh, the injector's trying to run away. All right, here's the backup ring. Now the injector, once again, line it up. This is good. There, that's in all the way. I can feel it. I don't know if you heard this, but I can definitely feel it. Do the same process on the other side. Work this in there. Guess I could put this down on the table, but then there's the risk that you will not see it. Pick this up, put her in there. Make sure the injector didn't pick up any dirt. Okay, looks fine. This should go right in there. Why does it seem like this one is sticking out? There, that's better. The next step would be to place this gasket. And then there's also a fuel meter gasket here. There's this one that matches. And there's also a dust cover for this. Now I gotta see which one does it need. There are two different ones. But there. Looks like everything is in place. See, I can see that the gasket is still in there. So now I have 4 screws for the injectors themselves that are shorter. You can see them here, they look like this. I just put them in there so I know where everything goes. There's also one short one at the end here. And then there are 3 longer ones, 2 here in the center. And finally one over by this fuel meter thingy. Alright, I'll start working my way around them. First just snug them up and then give them a little bit extra twist. They don't have to be very tight. This is all aluminum stuff, but I have to make sure they are tight so they don't come loose. I don't want to put any Loctite or anything like that on there. It's just the torque. For now I'm just pulling them snug, that's all. Important. Try not to deform anything, not to break anything. Alright, I don't have a tiny little torque wrench for this, so I'm gonna have to kind of feel this, and for that I'm probably just gonna put this thing down on the table, and you may not see what I'm actually doing, but it's pretty straightforward. So this injector pod, or whatever you call it, is probably the cleanest it's been since 1989. The injectors, they're old, but I don't believe there's anything wrong with them. Worst comes to worse and they don't work the way that they're supposed to, well, I guess they're not that terribly hard to change. However, I'm kind of counting on not having to do that after seeing the prices they go for. And you also have aftermarket ones, OEM ones, and you know, of course the OEM ones are never the cheap ones. So we'll see. This thing here, well, we have to wait for the kit that comes with the bushings and with a reamer. It's a little bit finicky after that. Probably the base idle might have to be reset, and because this is a computer controlled engine, there's a procedure for that. Doesn't mean I can't do it, but yeah, this is it for the fuel system right now. The next thing that I need to do for this fuel system is, of course, get to the gas tank. It is still under the truck. Looked at it yesterday. It shouldn't be too hard to get it down there. I don't know if there's anything in there. I can't really tell. I have to find a way to stick something under there and see what happens, see if there's any sign of gas, and well, if there is, then I have to get rid of it. So that's it for this video. This is what I did to my fuel system so far. I think I'm on the right track to making this truck run like a charm. If you'd like to know how this goes on, of course, you will have to subscribe to my channel. And if you just don't care, well, at least give me a thumbs up. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Check out this one if you haven't.